I'm so anxious right now. Welcome to the Pillow Talk podcast, except it's just Kai in bed yapping. The vibe here is that point of a sleepover where you're just lying in bed and things get really sad or funny or political, anything extreme, that's the goal. So enjoy. I'm very familiar with anxiety, unfortunately. I don't think I have it the worst. Well, I know I don't have it the worst. And I am very grateful for that, but I do think I have enough experience with it to be able to talk about it a bit. Um, I know I experience it more than some other people out there. For example, my boyfriend, he's just the most chill about everything. We'll have like some encounter with a stranger it'll make me crawl under my skin the way I acted. And then afterwards I'll be like, "Oh my word, that was so awkward." And he'll be like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "What? You mean you're chilled with the way you act all the time? That's so cool. I can't imagine that." For me, it's just more social interactions that freak me out a little bit. And I think it just goes to show that I'm a little too conscious of how I'm being perceived by others. It's definitely something I need to work on, but I'm very proud of myself because although I have this social anxiety, I do push myself to still carry on although I am experiencing it. Like in my degree currently, basically the whole degree was presentations. And that's really helped me a lot because obviously I've had immense anxiety and I still do. Every time I go up there, I get anxious, my heart beats, I get all sweaty and everything like I am now. It has gotten me more comfortable with pushing through the fear because one thing I've learned is that that fear isn't going to go away. I feel it all the time. So getting comfortable with just doing things despite feeling that and also like learning how to regulate myself in that moment so that I can carry on, that has definitely helped. But it started off as small things. I just simply wouldn't let it get in the way. Okay, I say simply, but it's not actually as simple as it sounds. Like it takes a lot of courage, and that sounds so stupid because of the examples I'm going to use. But for example, because this is a social anxiety, a big way that I kind of forced myself to just overcome those fears was a lot of the time on Instagram, I will come across posts that I think are funny or cool or really meaningful, anything that resonates with me. And so when I see these posts, I get this feeling of like, oh, I want everybody else to see this, so I want to post it. But then in my head, I'm like, I immediately start thinking of like the specific people that are going to judge me, what these people might say, what these people might think. And it's so stupid because, firstly, they probably don't care at all. And secondly, they do judge me, then I shouldn't even want to associate with them. So I've learned that actually doing things that feel right to you, whether that scares you or whatever, it's actually a good thing because if people do judge you, if people do reveal a bad side of themselves to you after you do something like that, it kind of just reveals to you who your true friends are, who the people that actually love you, that actually support you, and also the people that are like-minded. I've definitely been in spaces where the people around me just didn't feel like my people. I still get in those spaces where the people around me are not on the same page as me, and I never feel like myself in those spaces. And then I think of myself in my true friend groups, oh, especially the people from Cape Town, I miss them so much. But I feel so good about myself and so able to just be myself without this fear of, oh, they're probably going to retaliate badly if I say something about this. Do what resonates with you, whether that scares you or not, because if you're worried about people judging you, do you even want to be friends with the people that'll judge you for doing that? That is definitely something that has stuck with me, and it's something that keeps me going when I do feel that anxiety. But you know what else has really helped me with my anxiety? Is actually just repeating the thing that makes you anxious over and over again because your brain is actually very evidence based. So when you keep doing something that your brain is telling you is unsafe and you keep doing it and it keeps being safe, you slowly kind of unwiring that thought pattern. even though I do say I am still scared when I do presentations and meet new people and stuff, the more I did the presentations, I can't tell you guys, I'm so much better now. Like in the beginning, I was standing there with my speech cards, like all, prim and proper. And now it's been more of a professional conversation. Like I actually don't use speech cards. I either use notes on the laptop or I just know it. And I have a conversation with the crowd, which is what they want. And it's way more engaging. As much as I am still there with my heart beating really fast and palms sweating, knees weak, you know the song. The more I do it, the less I am so scared of. It's so stupid. Like in the beginning, I'm scared of messing up, and then it's like, okay, but if you mess up, what's the big deal? Just fix it. um, and that's kind of so what I've been realizing from practicing. And another weird thing that I've been anxious about that I've been working on this year is greeting strangers. I know it sounds so weird, but I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but a lot of the time when I'm walking, let's say in a corridor or on the streets or whatever, and there's a stranger passing me, I immediately think all these thoughts in my head about like, okay, I'll smile if they look at me. I'll say hello if they look at me. Like I will literally analyze their moves to see if they are going to give me any sort of attention or sign that they want to be greeted. And then if that happens, I'll be like, hi, and move on. But I hate that for those few seconds, I'm like at war with myself. Like, should I greet them? Should I not greet them? Would it be weird? Are they even going to respond to me? It's so stupid. But yeah, this year, it was basically like a New Year's resolution. I told myself that I was going to be more friendly to strangers. And the more I did it, the less scary it was. And I don't expect my anxiety to disappear. I know that it would take a lot of inner work. And I also know that it's a safety mechanism. It's obviously something I've adapted from when I was young, or I think is keeping my young self safe. I'm not sure which way it goes, but definitely something happened in my young years that made me think I needed to watch everyone's moves and be very cautious of what I say in situations and just get very aware of social interactions. And so I know it's a safety mechanism. It wasn't intentionally a bad thing that I developed this. I've just learned to kind of understand that. And that's why I say, like, I try to just remind my brain every time that I'm safe because at some point I didn't feel safe expressing myself or, I don't know, talking to strangers or something like that. So the more I do these things, the more I'm telling my brain, it's okay. We don't need to worry anymore. Like, I understand that that was to keep me safe at some points, but we don't need that anymore. This is me also now overcoming, like, I was so anxious starting this. I was pacing around here doing my breath work, trying to calm myself down so I could do this. Because I really do want this to be a chill thing, as if we're here having a conversation just before falling asleep at a sleepover. It's because I didn't want it to feel like I'm here presenting something to you or it has to be this planned speech. Like, yes, I've got a little bit of notes, but it's just because I don't want to sit here being like, oh my gosh, what was I going to say? So it kind of takes away some of the anxiety if I have a little bit of notes, but it's not like I've scripted this. I really do want this to be a conversation. And on top of that, please, guys, engage. Like, I want to know your guys' take on this. I want to know how you've dealt with your anxiety. Maybe you have some tips for me. And I definitely know that there are people out there that have it so much worse. And if that is you listening, I hope it gets better. I was actually watching a podcast by Madeline Argy, and she was talking about her anxiety. And that was the first time I realized that anxiety doesn't have to be social, because hers was about like health. Like she was super anxious about getting sick and stuff. So she wouldn't want to leave the house because she just think she's going to get sick and she wouldn't want to eat food that other people made for her. But not even just that, like I have a few friends that their anxiety is a lot worse than mine. Like I think mine is a lot easier to just carry on with my day even though I've got the anxiety. Some anxiety is extremely difficult to overcome, and that takes a lot more work. That takes a lot more inner work to tell yourself that it's safe. But one thing she was saying was that any memory that gave her anxiety, she started forcing herself to think of that memory and tell herself, like, convince herself that that memory wasn't a scary memory. It was a safe one. And, over time, like, that memory actually didn't trigger her that much. I don't know. I guess I'm just saying this in case there is someone out there that feels like they need more than what I just said. I just think it's so sad when anxiety stops people from living their best life, because it does a lot of the time. People don't experience a lot of things in their life because they're too anxious to, and it really sucks. I'm not really sure what else to say. But this podcast is an act of me overcoming my anxiety. So let's fucking go. Thank you so much for listening to today's Pillow Talk episode. If you have any thoughts, please comment them down below. I want this to be a conversation, like a sleepover. I love you so much. Bye.